and temperance. Temperance. Another one I'm just going to spell for you. Please look it up. It's Egkrateia. And it's from ekkrates. It means self-control. That's what temperance means, if you just look at the word temperance. But the root of it, it actually comes and it says strong in a thing, masterful. That is figuratively and reflexively self-controlled. And then it says in appetite. In appetite. So that means temperance is more than just being self-controlled. It is specifically being self-controlled when it comes to our appetite. Well, guess what? We don't just eat with our teeth, with our mouth and our digestive system. We eat with our ears. We eat with our eyes. Everything that we take in, we are ingesting. And we have an appetite to watch certain things. We have an appetite to listen to certain things. And guess what? The world has trained us to listen to things that aren't in alignment with the Word of God, to look at things that aren't in alignment with the Word of God. And if you don't have self-control, which guess what? Apart from God, none of us do. We just give in to the lusts of the flesh, to our appetites, our desires. But this says that by the Spirit, we have self-control when it comes to our appetite for what we listen to, our appetite for what we look at, our appetite for what we eat even. Because I can tell you, I have a goal to not be a fat pastor. I don't want to be a fat pastor. I don't ever. And that's not condemnation against anyone. We all have areas to grow in. I just know that for me, I don't ever want to stand up here and have an outward appearance that I don't have the fruit of the Spirit. Because guess what? Being obese doesn't happen in one meal. It's a lifestyle. But how many people are obese on the inside? Are overweight with what we're watching? Are weighed down by what we're listening to? But we have the fruit of self-control. Why is this important? I'm going to tell you what Jesus says about it. In Matthew chapter 7, we're going to look at verse 15 through 23. Matthew chapter 7, starting in verse 15. I'm reading out of the New King James Version. It says, "Beware of false prophets, who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravenous wolves. You will know them by their fruit. Do men gather grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Even so, every good tree bears good fruit. But a bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a bad tree bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Therefore, by their fruits you will know them." And then Jesus says, after he explains to them the fruit, it's then that Jesus says, "Not everyone who says to me, 'Lord, Lord,' shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, 'Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in your name, cast out demons in your name, and done many wonders in your name?' And then I, Jesus, will declare to them, 'I never knew you. Depart from me, you who practice lawlessness.'" That's why this is important. Because it is the fruit that Jesus looks at. What fruit are we bearing? Are we bearing bad fruit? Are we bearing the fruit of the Spirit? Anything that's not this one fruit that has 9 different characteristics that comes out of us, if it doesn't have these 9 characteristics and it comes out of us, we need to assess in that area of our life where we're connected. Because Jesus is the one that says, beware. Be aware. Be on the lookout for false prophets. How can you have a 100% guaranteed way to know what the fruit looks, what type of fruit it is? Put it under pressure. When you squeeze an apple hard enough, juice comes out. You can't fake that. You can paint an apple to look like an orange. You can grow an orange in the shape of an apple if you try it hard enough. But guess what? When you squeeze it, if it's an orange, orange juice is coming out. That's a real test of what fruit we have. Is what do we have in the pressure? What do we have when everything's not going the way that it should? What juice is coming out? What fruit are we bearing? Are we bearing self-control? Especially when it comes to appetite? That's one of the big areas for me. When I'm under stress, where do I turn? Food. Oh, I'm just hungry. I just need to eat. But the Word of God says man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. So when we're under pressure, when we are squeezed, when we are pressed down, we won't be destroyed, but we're going to find out what kind of fruit we have. So I glory in my infirmities, because I get to see what kind of fruit I got. And then we can change. If we're bearing bad fruit, we need to get connected to the vine in that area of our life. We need to stop looking at what the world has to say. We need to stop turning to what the world says peace is. We need to stop turning to what the world says self-control is. We need to stop turning to what the world says joy is. And we need to start taking God at his word and turning to what he says. I can't fix my soil. None of us can fix our own soil. But when we humble ourselves, when we submit to God, when we say, I don't care how I feel, what do you say about me, Father? Then our soil can start changing. Only then.